focus on me. You focusing? No. Okay, I put on the autofocus because I didn't feel like manually focusing it. Every single time I go make a video, the son wants to play games with me and wants to set, like, I'm trying to make a video. Work with me, please. Okay. We focusing now? Okay, I guess the light's okay now. This is not how I wanted to, start YouTube, but I feel like this is something that needs to be addressed and talked about, so I'm gonna do it. Today, there was a kid at my school. This thing will not stop autofocusing. You good? You good? No. She's not good.
Okay. We're good now. Actually.
Okay, here. We're good now. Wow. Oh, that took forever. Anyway, my name is Jada. Hello, if you didn't know that already. I'm Jada. Today there was a student that came to, well, okay. Today there was a student at my school, Westport High School, and he had a gun apparently, and there was like another kid that had another gun as well. And just like, this needs to stop. Kids should not be put into situations where they feel like they have to be scared at school. We go to school to learn. You know, a lot of us don't like even going to school in the first place. And now we go to school and we have to worry about people, dumb people, that bring guns to school for what? To do what? For what reason? During the Code Yellow today, I felt safer than I felt back in April. And back in April 20th, there's supposed to be a school-wide, or not even school-wide, nationwide walkout for, wasn't it? I don't remember, school walkout for the gun violence that's been happening. And there was a shooting at Forest High School in Ocala, and one kid got shot in the foot or the ankle, and all of us were under Code Red. And there was some rumors about there being a shooter at my school, Westport, and you know, everyone was freaking out and stuff, and like that was traumatizing because, you know, being underneath the, you know, where the computers are, being underneath there, and like, you know, your teacher handing you textbooks and you're like, why are you handing me textbooks? And she's like, you know, in case we got throw it at the shooter, you know. That's not something you want to hear. That's not something anyone wants to hear, and anyone wants to tell you. It's not a good thing to experience. And I just hate that, like, being in a situation like that, for the, like, one time being in a situation, you cry and you hope and pray that you'll never be in this situation again. And like today, being in Code Yellow, you know, I felt safer. We had more security on campus now. We have 2 separate lunches and stuff. And I felt safer today because I was around people that made me feel safer. And like, you know, the classroom I was in was like super safe. But like, you know, in that moment, I felt safe. And I didn't even realize that there was someone that could possibly harm us, you know. Code Yellow, they found the guy and everything, I guess, and you know, like, while everything's happening, they don't tell you because I guess they don't want you to panic. Plus, like, the staff doesn't have the information that they need anyway too, so like there's miscommunication and stuff. Like, we had to stay in 3rd period for a long time, but you know, it wasn't until like we made it to 4th period that like there was a girl in my class and she was freaking out and she was crying. She was like, I want to go home, I don't feel safe here, I want to be homeschooled. And she, like, you know, like, she's a senior, and she threw a whole thing, and she was like, I want to go home, I want my parents to come pick me up. And I was like thinking, like, why is she freaking out like that, you know? Like, we're safe, we're okay, like, they caught them, they arrested them, you know? And then, you know, throughout the day I was kind of just thinking about it, and I was like, you know, this is a learning environment. We shouldn't feel like these things could happen at any point in time. It's the reality that we live in. I'm just saying it's a reality that we shouldn't have to live in, you know. And it's just crazy. In 6th period, you know, we're talking about it, you know. You come to school to learn. Why do you have a gun? Why do you need to bring that gun, you know? And it's just crazy. After school, I had to drop my friend home, and, you know, we're talking about, like, stuff that weren't relevant to the shooting. But, you know, on the way home, after I dropped him off and went home, I realized, like, you know, I was thinking about it. I was really thinking about it, like, thinking about it hard. Like, you know, I already experienced something one time where we thought that there was a shooter on campus, you know, and there was helicopters and parents were, like, jumping over the fences just to get into the school to get their kids, you know. Like, that's something no one should ever have to go through. And to think, like, we went through it again, not as intense, and not as, like, you know, yeah, just not as intense as before, but still the same thing. It's something that, it's like, for me, thinking about it, it's like, I was so calm today, because, like, you know, I felt safer, but also at the same time, it's like, this is, like, an everyday thing now. Like, this is, like, the new norm, and it shouldn't be that way. But, like, I don't think enough people are talking about it. You know, if something does happens one time, and it's like, oh, we need to address this issue, and then after it's addressed, it's kind of, like, brushed off, you know? No one really thinks about it, you know, too hard about it, and they don't think it's, like, the biggest problem, but, like, it's probably one of the biggest problems. You know, America has so many, like, mass school shootings, and it shouldn't even be that way, you know? So many other countries, I'm not even going to go into that, but, like, it's just an environment that we should not have to feel like that this is, like, a norm, and this isn't something that we have to experience, like, on the daily, you know? This is the second time that this has happened. It wasn't as intense as the first time, but again, you still feel, you know, scared. Like, I'm not going to say that I'm going to go to school tomorrow, I'm going to be like, I don't want to be here because I don't feel safe. I do feel safer, yes, but at the same time, it's kind of like, what's happening at home? What's happening that these kids feel like they have to bring guns to school? To do what? Take innocent lives? Why? You know? And, like, the whole day today, I felt safe, but it wasn't until, like, you actually, like, sit and think about it, like, it's the reality that we live in. It's something that no one should have to go through, but yet we go through it, you know? And, like, I don't even know how to explain it, man. Like, my little sister, like, I'd rather go through this a million times. I'd rather go through this every single day the rest of my life if it means that my little sister, the younger generation, doesn't have to go through things like this. Violence, hatred, it all spirals. Hatred spirals into violence, and I don't see why that should be the case. I know that people aren't going to always have the way that they want it to be, but at the same time, why put people in situations where they feel uncomfortable and they feel like they have to fight for their life, you know? Like, especially, like, this generation of kids, we're so young. This is not something that we should have to go through. It's my senior year, you know, it's my last year at this high school. Like, these are not, I don't want to look back years from now and think about, oh, high school years, yeah, there was that one shooting, there was almost another one. I don't want to look back and think about these things. These are not things that should count as memories, you know? It's sad, and it's the reality of it. And, like, if anything would have happened to my sister, Jordan! Ugh, my smoke arms. This is my sister Jordan. Like, you know, these are the kids, the younger generations, and this is not anything I would ever want her to go through. I love her so much, and I'd rather have to be in situations like today or April 20th to make sure that they don't happen to her. And I never, ever, I'm gonna cry. I never want her to have to go through things like this, you know? It shouldn't be something like this that they have to go through. And it's sad, it's the reality that we live in, but we have to do something about it. Someone has to talk about it, you know? These things have to be addressed, and, you know, it's just a sad world that we live in. But we have to do something, because younger generations, you know, with time it'll just get worse if no one does anything about it, no one speaks up. And it needs to be spoken up about, it needs to be talked about, you know, especially for the younger generation, generations to come. I don't know what I would do if anything were to happen to her. If she had to be in any situation that I've been in, I don't know what I would do. I love her so much. It's just, this is a conversation that needs to be had instead of brushed off. Things need to be done, and people just need to open their eyes and talk about it. It's okay to talk about it, but it needs to stop being brushed off. This is happening every day. This should not be our reality. This should not be the way it is, especially For the younger generation, everything we do is, it brushes off on the younger generation. I don't want anything to happen to you, Jordan. I love you. Okay? I love you so much. Anyway, if you sat through and watched this whole video, you can go now. If you've sat through and watched this video, appreciate it a lot. I cried. Saw my tears. Yeah, no, but seriously, this is something that needs to be addressed, and, you know, I'm serious. We have to start this conversation. We have to start something. Because otherwise it's just going to keep happening, and that's not good. But, yeah, I was feeling overwhelmed with my feelings, and I don't have really anyone to talk to about it. So I just pulled out my camera, and here we are. But I'm serious. This is something that we need to talk about. And, you know, if you watched this, the whole thing, thank you for watching it. Just use your voice, speak up, because it does help, even if you're just one person. We need to talk about this. Something needs to change. Also, let me just apologize for the way I'm looking, because I had a rough day at school today. It was long as hell. Oh, I don't think I can say that. It was long. It was a long day. Plus, like, on the way driving from my friend's house back to my house, I was bawling my eyes out. I'm kidding. I wasn't bawling, but, like, I was crying. Then I got home and I was like, and then, you know, I was crying, and then, you know, I kind of, like, converted those emotions I was feeling and threw them at the camera. So, yeah. I'm done now.
I'm looking like a whole model. I'm kidding. I don't know what I'm doing. You can't see me. Oh, I'm wearing a romper. That's why I'm not naked.